Anyway, we've got a lot of rioting happening in South Africa at the moment, protests which have happened, and so on. And one of the reasons that people who join Operation Dudula actions and March on March actions and the other organizations that are involved with this is that immigrants are taking South African jobs, they are taking South African school places, they are taking South African places in queues at clinics, and they are taking South African houses and so on. All of those claims for which there is little evidence. But let's check now with Thokozile Qalanto, who is with the Khayelitsha Business Forum, the secretary thereof. Thokozile, good afternoon. Thank you very much for your time.
Good afternoon, John, and thank you for this opportunity, and hello to your viewers, to your listeners.
Thokozile, what's the situation with, there is obviously a lot of unemployment in Khayelitsha, as there is in most, in inverted commas, township areas in South Africa. What's the sort of tension around South Africans getting economic opportunity versus immigrants, whether they're legal or illegal, getting economic opportunities in your area?
John, it's very frustrating on how the private sector and big companies have neglected South African when it comes to local labor, and they are employing illegal foreign nationals instead of South Africans. They have their own reasons that are very silly in our own understanding, saying that foreign nationals are more skilled than South Africans when it comes to Wi-Fi and everything. Communities are very frustrated because, for example, in Khayelitsha, we have a Khayelitsha mall, where in the back of Khayelitsha mall, foreign nationals are operating there. They're operating, they have their own market. And when you enter in Khayelitsha mall and checking the shops, currently spa manager in Khayelitsha mall, it's a foreign national. We are not sure if he's legal or illegal. So it's very frustrating that big companies are preferring foreign nationals than South Africans. They're not even willing to upskill South Africans for the job market that they are looking for. So it's very frustrating that people are not willing to give South African a chance, but they are looking for cheap labor.
Thokozile, the frustration that you mention, does that relate equally to somebody who has the paperwork to live in South Africa and to work in South Africa? Is the frustration equally at those who are legally in the country, who've been through the process of getting the right to work and the right to live here and so on, or is it primarily directed at those who might not have applied at all or might be in the process of applying or who want to remain on the sidelines of bureaucracy?
John, you never know who is illegal, who is not illegal, because foreign nationals have been in South Africa for the longest time, and our question as community members, you ask yourself, you left your country and you choose to come to South Africa and get a passport, but you choose to live in a shack and you left your own country. So you never know if this person is legal or illegal. So we still have doubts as a community member about what's going on. How does the government ensure us that the people that are employed in these big companies are illegal immigrants? So we never sure. The government has not given us assurance of that. Even now, the president spoke on Sunday. There is no exact number of how many illegal and illegal foreigners that are here. Even in the city of CapeTalk, the mayor has not given us that we are facing this crisis. Khayelitsha, as the second largest township, is being flooded by foreign nationals. But then what is the number? Does the mayor knows what is the number of people that are illegal or not illegal?
Of course he doesn't know. He's not going to know. He won't have that information.
But he must. He's the mayor of the city of Cape Town. He must know what's going on in the city. And he must know. For example, we have spaza shops. Each and every spaza shop in Khayelitsha is owned by a foreign national. Does he know how many spaza shops are in Khayelitsha? Is the biggest township, and are these foreign national operating in these spaza shops? Are they illegal or? You understand? So the government also is failing us, and communities are frustrated. The more protests are happening in other provinces, the more protests will come in Khayelitsha, because people are saying our last hope is much and much. So it's very frustrating.
You say, I mean, the manager of the spa in the Khayelitsha Mall is not a South African. Have you engaged with the franchise owner of the spa and perhaps other businesses in the Khayelitsha Mall that might be employing foreigners as to whether they check the legal state of those foreigners and why it is that they are not, as you say, they are not giving locals opportunities?
We have tried numerous times. The marches that were conducted in Khayelitsha Mall, there are marches that were conducted in one of the companies that is installing Wi-Fi in Khayelitsha. Fiber Time is installing Wi-Fi in Khayelitsha, and majority of their employees are foreign nationals. We've been trying to communicate, but companies are not cooperating with us. They are not giving us the guarantee. When it comes to local labor, South Africans, they employ general positions. They don't want to upskill our people. So with Khayelitsha Mall, if you can search, there've been marches since 2022. There've been marches, community members marching there, saying that you are employing foreign nationals in higher positions than South Africans. Even if you went to Khayelitsha Mall and check your fisheries, your pharmacies, they are foreign people that are employed there.
Because, I mean, the response I'm getting from listeners at the moment, and every time I talk about this, my colleagues talk about it, we have a significant number of people saying, but the foreigners work harder, they are more reliable, and we get that a lot.
That's true. I noticed that I was doing an evaluation after a peaceful march from another community group. I started doing the evaluation with local businesses, and I noticed that even local businesses like small SMEs are employing foreign nationals. And I asked people, what's going on? Why are we doing this while we know there is high unemployment in the youth? And they say they are more desperate for the job, so they will execute the job than a South African. A South African is more comfortable because, for example, they are in their own country. They have the parents who are going to cook a meal and everything. Most South Africans have an alcohol issue, so after they getting paid, they are not coming back on work. After they come back after 2 days when the salary is over. So foreign nationals are desperate. They making sure they are reaching the targets on time because they have more responsibilities than South Africans. And as a business people, I have also noticed that my employees, all of my employees are South Africans, but I have to chase my employees the most than other companies. Other companies, they just operate their phone, use their companies on the phone, making sure that they have a supervisor that is a foreign national, and they will push the work.
So what I'm hearing from you, Thokozile, is that there are a lot of people in Khayelitsha that are very supportive of the aims of March and March, Operation Dudula, the other organizations that are organizing around this. So do they support the methods? Or would they join in, do you think, many of the people who live and try to work where you run a business? Would they join in a march and try to chase the foreigners out by the 30th of June deadline?
Most definitely they will join, because they already joined when there was the March and March started in Belgium. Many people in Khayelitsha joined that march, so they are waiting for them to come to Khayelitsha. If you look at social media, when March and March announces that they are coming to Cape Town, they give them locations and place and pictures of where to go. So majority of those comments in their March and March pages, it's saying Khayelitsha Mall. There's a market of drug dealers, there's of foreign nationals. They even have gangs, because now foreign nationals are even robbing community members in the morning at bus stops going to work, because we know all of those gangsters that are foreign nationals are staying there behind Khayelitsha Mall, having containers. It's like they have their own small township within Khayelitsha.
What do you think is the solution?
The solution, you will never know. The solution will be the government, but then you can't trust the government, because the government has already failed us many times. The solution, they must go. We must create the government must create a system for them to go back home. But then we are hearing also that our home affairs is very corrupt, and you would wonder how will they be able to go, all of them. The solution, the government needs to pull up their socks. They need to give South Africans the guarantee that the government is willing to protect the South African economy, and making sure that South African can trust the government again. Because it's very sad that majority of South Africans are unemployable. Or can't get jobs, can't be upskilled, and currently the youth unemployment is going up and up. So we need the government to pull up their socks.
Thokozile, Qalanto, thank you very much. I think a very important perspective for me to hear, and I think for other listeners to hear as well. Thokozile Qalanto is the secretary of the Khayelitsha Business Forum.